Discussion keeps the world turning.
This is Roundtable.
You're tuned in to Roundtable. I'm Steve Hatherley today with Yushan and Fei Fei. Coming up, imagine a device that hears every language, remembers every face, and never misses a moment, all without you pulling out your phone. That's the promise of smart glasses. But there is an uneasy part. When a gadget sees and stores as much as you do, convenience starts to bump up against consent. So where's the boundary? And more importantly, will anyone actually wear them if they don't trust what's being recorded? After that, when a child lies or cheats, the instinct is to come down hard. Stricter rules, harsher punishments, zero tolerance. But new research from Singapore suggests that heavy-handed parenting might be backfiring. We'll take a look at two long-term studies that challenge everything we thought about tough love and ask whether strict discipline actually creates the very behavior it tries to stamp out. Our podcast listeners, that's you, can find us at Roundtable China on Apple Podcasts. And don't forget that we love to hear from you too. So send your voice notes to roundtablepodcast@qq.com. One more time, roundtablepodcast@qq.com. Smart glasses are being pitched as the next smartphone. Lighter, smarter, always available. They can translate conversations in real time. They can guide users through unfamiliar cities. They can take notes during meetings and capture life hands-free. But the same features that make them exciting also make people uneasy. When a device can record, recognize, and remember what it sees, the question isn't only what tech can do, it's what companies should allow it to do. If convenience comes at the cost of consent, where should the line be drawn? Smart glasses is not a new topic, Fei Fei and Yushan, for us to discuss here on the show. They've been around for a very, very long time. We've talked about it in the past in terms of like sales numbers and things like this. Mm-hmm. But we wanted to bring the topic back today to look at it from a different angle. As they become more mainstream, how is society going to accept these new devices?
Exactly, Steve. I think AI glasses, smart glasses, not something new. People hear about it all the time. But also at the same time, in the past few years, people also hear about the disadvantage these kind of devices have. For example, it's too heavy. That is not something you can wear all day long. But apparently for this year, I think what's making smart glasses a little bit different is because a lot of the technological breakthroughs is making AI glasses more accessible, more comfortable to wear. And that's why many people are also calling 2026 as the year of AI glasses. And the sales numbers, not only here in China, but also globally, are telling us that. For example, there is a data set from Omdia. It says global AI glasses shipments reached 8.7 million units last year. That was increased more than 300%. And
from the year before.
From the year before,
300.
yes.
An over 300% increase from the year before.
Yeah, and also even for the first quarter of this year, according to IDC, global AI glasses shipments also still increased by 130% year on year. So it's continuing to be booming. And it's also here in China, Omdia also estimates that nearly 1 million AI glasses were shipped in the Chinese mainland in 2025.
So there you go. That's the evidence that smart glasses have moved from niche, that seems to be my word of the day, into the mainstream category.
Kind of like how smartphone
yes.
Smart
emerged.
watches.
Yes, exactly.
The smartwatch is relatively more recent, but smartphones, I remember 10 years ago when it first got around, people were amazed by it, but not yet everybody owned one. Just like how smart glasses are kind of entering our life nowadays, it's becoming more popular, but in the meantime, not everybody own it. That's where the controversy emerged.
Well,
right?
we'll get to the controversy in a sec, but before we bury smart glasses, let's talk about the amazing things that they can do, because these are the reason they're becoming mainstream is because of the cool things that they can do.
Yeah, they can, of course, help with communication. That's one of the main reasons why people purchase it in the first place. They are able to do real-time translation. Imagine how cool that can be. There's one Chinese company, iFlyTech, which says that their AI glasses support translation in up to 122 languages.
That's amazing.
Meaning that you can just travel abroad or talk to
Anybody.
whomsoever, without any delay. That's the thing with translation. There's always a delay if you take time to translate. But with that kind of device, that's no longer an issue. And also, there's the meeting assistance that comes with these products. Some models of the AI glasses can listen to conversations and automatically generate transcripts, summaries, and task lists in front of your eyes, basically.
Yep. They're also very convenient in terms of navigation. I think Alibaba is an example of a company where they're integrating AI assistance and mapping services that can provide very specific directions for you without you, the user of those glasses, the wearer of those glasses, having to look down at a smartphone to find where you're going.
Well, that would be so helpful when driving.
Yeah. And you're thinking about putting on a glass and everything is appearing right in front of your eyes.
Yeah,
I
telling you when to turn, where to go.
And I think that's the biggest
what's that
feature
fancy
and advantages coming to
Ask me in 2 minutes.
Okay.
smart glasses, that you don't need to use your hands.
What about the photography and the video recording? Also amazing.
Yeah, that's, I think, a big plus, especially if you record videos on a daily basis. For travelers, content creators, vloggers, smart glasses can allow them to capture exactly what they see. So you don't have to think about, the angle of how you place either your cameras or your smartphones. You put on the glasses, you can film whatever you want from your lens, from your angle. And also at the same time, it's very convenient in the sense that you don't also need to, search your bag or pocket and grab your phones out. You can just start recording whenever you want.
Yeah. I mean, you say that. And this is what supporters say. Supporters say that you have constant availability of all the things that your phone can do already on your face. Critics say, I mean, how hard is it to... What do you mean search for your phone?
It's
in your
definitely
pocket.
don't have a big bag.
It's in your pocket. Critics are saying that smartphones, they already do these things. They already do most of these functions. Again, the difference is that it kind of stays in our pocket most of the time. Now, let's get to why we're talking about this topic today, because all the things that you just said, not all, not the navigation or things like that, but some of the things you just said are causing people to feel very uncomfortable. The video recording, the photography, the recording of conversation. Yushan, you just said it. It's amazing. It's amazing. You can sit in a meeting and have your smart glasses record the conversation, and that can give you a transcript of the meeting that you just took part in. It allows you to focus more on what's being said rather than taking notes. But when you take that talent or skill of those glasses and put it out in public, people don't like that too much.
Especially when other people don't have it and you do, and nobody really know when that fine line of privacy is broken between daily interactions, because manufacturers of AI glasses often include recording indicators that's coming up with little lights that's intended to alert everybody around you when you're filming or recording. But this is according to a report in Who Show that's coming out freshly in June this year, that inexpensive light blocking stickers are all over the place online. They're designed to conceal those indicators when already being sold online. And especially if you're just taking pictures in a non-quiet environment, that little reminder of click, click, you can't spot it. And without the light, like with it sealed with the sticker that you can buy very conveniently, nobody knows.
The glasses have a light indicator.
Right.
To tell the rest of the world
that you are recording.
Yeah.
You can cover that. so
Yeah.
that the rest of the world doesn't know.
That makes people uneasy when it comes to the unknown part.
1,000,000%.
Especially in public, I mean, even with smartphones. I mean, sometimes you would be skeptical when somebody holds up their phones. You're not really sure if they're just looking, browsing, scrolling their phones for messages, or they're actually recording you or the surroundings. And I think when it comes to AI glasses, it can be more difficult to tell.
Yeah, you just mentioned, Fei Fei, how AI glasses are being made less heavy and more portable. So people like me who wear like framed glasses basically every day for the majority part of our lives, we can just put it on without other people recognizing that, oh, this is actually AI glasses that can have more function than just a pair of glasses. Then yeah, of course, concerns will grow, and as it already has. And also, earlier this month, we've talked about Gaokao. And during Gaokao period, the Ministry of Education here in China also issued a notice ahead of the National College, the Gaokao, warning that bringing smart glasses, smartphones, smartwatches, or similar electronic devices into examination venues would be treated as a cheating action, regardless of whether you used it or not. So AI glasses is officially being listed as part of those tech gears that you should not easily bring into different occasions, including examinations.
Yeah, and that makes sense from the school side of things, right? I want to go back out into public because there's two different ways to look at this from. You've got the general public. We touched on that already, right? If when this gets on everyone's radar, and it's about to, right? Everybody's going to become aware of these. Oh, who's wearing smart glasses? Who's not? Who's recording? Who isn't? You've got the public trust issues, but then you've got the wearer of the glasses
Who needs to apologize all the time or explain all the time.
It's called the burden of being suspected. And there are cases of people who have found themselves repeatedly explaining to other strangers, I'm not recording. I'm not recording. I'm not recording. So in some cases, it's made those wearers not want to wear them anymore because they don't want to deal with that.
Yes.
Even if they're not doing anything shady, even if they're not doing anything that they shouldn't be doing, they still don't want to feel like a criminal.
Yeah, apologizing all the time. But also, I think from the public's point of view, when you are seeing somebody wearing that kind of devices, you don't know, especially with the technology these days that are capable of not only recording voices or videos, but also they can recognize your face, your facial features.
Yeah, that's from a CNET report, right?
Yeah, that's borderline privacy violation issues. And that's very understandable when people feel really insecure when you start to see people wearing this kind of devices and you're not really sure what they're using it for. And you will be coming out trying to protect yourself.
This is something that we don't think about. At least I never think about it. One of the reasons I can enjoy going out in public is that no one knows who I am. It's the joy of anonymity.
Yeah.
Right? You feel comfortable. All of us feel comfortable walking around outside because nobody knows who we are. We like that. This is the CNET report from June this year. It just came out. I'll read to you here. There are growing concerns among digital rights experts that future smart glasses could combine cameras, AI assistants, and biometric identification systems capable of recognizing strangers in public. Critics warn that this could fundamentally change expectations of anonymity in public spaces.
But that line...
Facial recognition technology.
That's true. But I think that line is being crossed somewhere when short video platforms start to boom worldwide.
What do you mean?
You mean content creators going out in public, doing a vlog, and they're recording themselves, of course. They're not recording any strangers on the street, but you appear in the background. And I think we've talked about before, even laws now exempt this kind of things as not a violation of privacy if that content creator or vlogger is not on purpose filming a stranger, you are just appearing in the background, not in focus, that's fine.
What if that same video showed your name, your age, and your address?
Yeah, I think... Well,
that's terrifying.
With the current technology, I'm not talking about, legal regulations, so on and so forth. Just with the technology part of it, I think it's feasible when somebody records you, without knowingly, and the system somewhere got uploaded on a cloud service, for instance, and you are being recorded, your name, your behaviors, your consuming behavior, your consuming habits was sort of being recorded somewhere.
I think that also had something to do with the tolerance we have with what kind of device is being promoted nowadays. So a smartphone replaced the old style of phones, and then AI glasses are gradually replacing part of the functions of a smartphone.
But are they?
I don't think so.
Okay, because that's one of the big discussions here, right?
Yeah, but that's kind of what my point is going to land too, because with smartphones, we kind of have already made a lot of agreements on how it should be used in terms of filming, in terms of live streaming and contents being shared on social media. And also, people kind of know when you're filming with a phone, right?
Sure. I mean, that's one of the big differences is you have to hold it up.
Yeah.
It's obvious to other people.
And then for smart glasses, now that it's got its pros and cons, but most importantly, what fears me the most would be sometimes even when you bear no evil intention, like you said, Steve, we just walk on the street wearing a AI smart glasses, but it's filming and we're not knowing that it's filming. And you can just put that on and walk on the street and it's documenting things without you knowing. And even like when you go into very private places such as a bathroom, it's still filming. Can you imagine that? So that's one thing that's kind of getting everybody like worried.
Yeah.
Right?
Where are you allowed to use these things and where are you not allowed to use these things? Now, I made a little scrunchy face and a weird voice, Yushan, a few minutes ago when you said, oh, this is awesome when I'm driving. And I said, like, I don't know about that. Here's what's happening in America. Lawmakers in Illinois, that's a state, that's where Chicago is, have proposed restrictions on wearing AI-powered smart glasses while driving, citing concerns about distraction and safety.
Distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Or like things are appearing right in front of your eyes and you are not really paying attention to what's happening on roads.
Yep.
That's a concern, right?
You're not allowed to use your smartphone when you're driving.
Of course.
You're not allowed to text when you're driving.
If you're captured, you need to pay fine for it.
Why should you be allowed to wear smart glasses that display information right in front of your eyes or eye when you're operating a motor vehicle?
Jeez, people can be swapping short videos on their AI glasses.
Here's another issue. This will be the last issue that I bring up. And I'm not really anti-AI smart glasses. It's just there's a lot of questions that need to be answered here. In February of this year, Swedish media reported concerns surrounding how images captured through smart glasses could be used to improve artificial intelligence systems. According to those reports, some image data was reviewed and annotated by workers contracted through a country in Africa to help train AI models.
Ooh.
Critics argue that the enormous commercial value of AI training data may create incentives that conflict with privacy protection.
So
you can hire people to go out and wear these smart glasses and collect data, video and images,
and send it back to some African companies.
For somewhere in the world for data training.
And that's where I think laws, the teeth in the society should come into place. Regulations, set the boundaries. Even sometimes I think for companies, I think it will be very difficult for individual companies to come up with their own plans saying that, you know what, I'm going to take the cameras of our AI glasses so that we can protect consumers' privacies while their rivals are developing new features. But when it comes to industry bodies, when in organization, whether it's government-backed or not, they can come up with a consensus of where the boundaries should be drawn. Because, when it comes to products, devices like AI glasses, I think it can be a very interesting sidekick in everyday life, but I don't think it's going to replace other devices like smartphones. So we don't need every functions on this small device. Maybe just the essential ones would be enough.
You think they are not different enough from a smartphone to replace a smartphone?
Yeah, you remember when smartwatches first came to the market? They also make promises that they can do all the things your smartphone can. But now I don't think smartwatches is going to replace any smartphones in the world. But it's still a very useful devices. It's still a very useful daily device for many people, and many people are still making that purchases and still using it. So it's a big, nice supplement to the market.
You see, for smart wristband and smart watches, they come up with different products. I just named two. If you want to just wear a health wristband, there are those. And then if you want a very comprehensive, all-in-one kind of smartwatch, there are those. But for AI glasses, we only have AI glasses. And like you mentioned, many different brands are competing over how more things I can do and perform better comparing with all my rivalries. But we don't really have a classified or specific functional dedicated kind of product on the market nowadays. Maybe there are, but they're kind of less popular. The popular ones you just mentioned, how many are sold globally, are those that can basically do a bit of everything. So if in the future the industry can kind of refine what these glasses are for and under what scenarios these glasses are allowed to be worn, I think that will make people a lot safer. Like these one is particularly for driving.
Elderly people.
Yeah, when driving, it's only for indicating map or road situation instead of anything else. And then for old people, there's the eyesight enhancement. And you can perhaps receive text messages, but nothing else. And for filming ones, they perhaps design bigger, more obvious indicators on the glasses, and it can only film and it can only be used when everybody knows that you are filming. Then isn't that going to make everything simpler?
Yeah, I think so. This year I think is the first year on some level that smart glasses became the mainstream product on the market, not the niche ones anymore. And I think we need to give companies and consumers some time to figure out what exactly this kind of device is designed for.
Maybe a little refinement. And maybe set some rules, put some rules in place. And we'll see where we are in a year's time, maybe. You're listening to Roundtable, and coming up next, being tough on your kids when they lie is the right thing to do, right? Well, maybe not.
Looking for passion? How about fiery debate? Want to hear about current events in China from different perspectives? Then tune in to Roundtable, where East meets West, and understanding is the goal.
When a child tells a lie or cheats on a test, our automatic instinct as a parent or educator is to crack down hard. Stricter rules, enforce harsher punishments, and try to teach them right from wrong through sheer authority. But what if that is wrong? What if that iron fist approach is actually creating the very deception that we are trying to stop? Groundbreaking new research from the National University of Singapore suggests that overly strict punitive parenting doesn't teach kids moral values. It actually drives them to lie. Let's dive straight in. What exactly did these Singaporean studies discover about the connection between strict parenting and a child's honesty?
Yeah, researchers from the National University of Singapore, they discovered that highly strict, controlling parenting is strongly linked to increased cheating and deceptive behaviors in children. So rather than producing perfectly obedient, rule-following kids, harsh rules actually act as a primary driver for dishonesty as children grow. That's very, very surprising.
Well, yeah, but also in the meantime, no, because if you want to avoid trouble as a kid, you kind of need to get deceptive if you know that the result for making any mistake is so heavy and that you can barely pay for it each and every time you do anything wrong. So, yeah, also that same study revealed that when children of restrict parents lie, they aren't doing it out of anger or defiance. Instead, deception acts as a survival mechanism to them. In order to cope with intense self-criticism, the fear of making mistakes, and the overwhelming pressure.
Okay, that's very theoretical. Let's put this in a context.
Yeah.
So this is one of the studies they did. They tracked 479 families and tested the preschoolers, these are preschool children, with a dart game designed to be too difficult to succeed at. The children were told not to peek and were left alone in a room with a hidden camera, maybe smart glasses, after a parent or researcher strongly implied that doing well on the game was highly important. The setup created a really high-pressure environment for the kids where they were forced to face the threat of failure alongside an easy opportunity to cheat. The test was designed for them to fail. They wanted to see what the kids would do if they failed. 61% of the kids overall cheated by peeking or lying about their scores. Those with strict fathers were significantly more likely to do so. A child with an easygoing father was not terrified of failing and would simply admit that they did poorly on the DART test without fearing a loss of love or safety. But the child with the punitive father, the heavy-handed, disciplined dad, had learned that mistakes lead to harsh disappointment or punishment, forcing them to lie as the survival strategy, Yushan. And that's what you were talking about before. That's not my opinion. That's what the University of Singapore, National University of Singapore researchers concluded.
Well, I think another very important factor, very important in the study is that they focus on what they call authoritarian parenting. It's a parenting style that's characterized not only by high control, but also by low emotional warmth. Meaning, not only the parents is very strict and punitive, but also they don't really show affections often to their children. So they have this kind of distance relationships between children and parents. I think that's also very important to note, because when it comes to harsh punishments or higher control from the parent side, I think parenting is an active balancing, that you need to balance out when it's the time you show your affection, warmth to your children, and also you need to balance out when it is appropriate to show your iron fist, to set the boundaries to the children that this is unacceptable. You should never do this again.
Well, the way I understand it is to beat my cat when he really scratched me pretty hard, or to allow it be when it's just a joke. Is that the same as raising kids?
Well, on some
I suppose
level,
no.
On some level,
really?
Kids won't scratch me, but they will do things that is not really acceptable. Not only within the family, but especially going on to the.
No, it's not the same at all. It's not the same at all.
Good to know.
The second study, 300 families. No need to go into the details here, but this was a study where they found a connection between physical punishment to the child, like a spanking or something, and the connection with lying. And they found that if the child was physically punished, they were more inclined to lie because they wanted to avoid that physical punishment. Yeah.
So it's a toxic loop. That they lie and they get punished and they feel like they need to lie more to protect themselves.
Fei Fei, what do you think about this? Do you think this is accurate? Do you think the researchers from National University of Singapore need to do more research? What do you think?
I think there definitely are some reasons behind this kind of research outcomes, that when it comes to children to admitting and acceptance of their failures, it's very important for them to teach them to accept that. And having a very high control, having very harsh punishments are not the ways to do that. But also at the same time, how to set that boundaries when they are really lying about something serious.
According to the experts, to stop the lying, parents and teachers must address the underlying psychological anxiety rather than reacting with mere anger, meaning you address the source of the lie as opposed to the lie itself?
Well, it's very ideal. When you when you saw your child lie about something very obvious, it's very difficult for the parent to control their temper, to not feel angry on the spot. Well, of course, they need to go to the source of the problem, but I just think it would be asking parents to do too much to control their tempers on the spot.
What would be an ideal way of showing the balance you mentioned?
Apologizing afterwards, after you lose your temper, apologizing to the kid. Sorry, that was wrong for me to do that, to act that way, but I acted that way because you did really something really, really wrong.
I agree with you. I think these studies often teach us how to handle a situation in the perfect emotional fashion. But when you're in that situation and your kid just lied about breaking the TV remote
in front of your face,
but they say, I didn't do it.
Yeah, or they blame it on
the
somebody
cat
else.
does it.
Yeah, what are you supposed to say? All right, child. Well, let's address the source of your anxiety.
Of course,
rather than you're paying for that.
Yeah, of course you're gonna yell at them. That's very natural.
Not easy, I guess. A little harder than raising a cat, they say.
The cat won't shift blames on
well,
other.
They still break TVs, just for the record.
That'll do it for Roundtable. Sorry, we got to say goodbye. Have a good one. Please join us again next time. I'm Steve for Fei Fei and Yushan.